So I first just have to say how humbled and privileged I am to be making this introduction and be in the company of you all tonight, and to celebrate the truly extraordinary work that you've done, that you're doing, and that you will do to try to understand the world we live in and make it a better place. So thank you. And now I have been given the honor and pleasure to introduce Dr. Elaine Fuchs. Dr. Fuchs graduated from the University of Illinois and then earned her PhD at Princeton University. She has always been a groundbreaker and was one of only 3 women in a physics class of 200 as an undergraduate. Dr. Janet Rowley, a 2010 Hope Funds Award of Excellence winner, was one of her early mentors. Dr. Fuchs is currently the Rebecca Lansfield Professor of Mammalian Cell Biology at the Howard Hughes Medical Institute of Rockefeller University, right here in New York. This is one of the most prestigious scientific institutions in the world. Dr. Fuchs is one of the world's leading authorities on the molecular mechanisms for skin cancer and disease, and was elected president of the American Society for Cell Biology in 2001. She was also awarded the National Medal of Science, which is the United States' highest scientific honor. Her many honors are far too numerous to list, but suffice it to say, the Hope Funds for Cancer Research is proud to add her to the pantheon of outstanding scientists who have accepted the Hope Funds Award of Excellence Medal in Basic Science. Her work has significantly extended human knowledge in her fields of study. Dr. Fuchs.
So let me begin by thanking the Hope Funds and also the Scientific Advisory Board for selecting me as the recipient of one of the Basic Science Awards tonight. I am truly honored and grateful for this award. In thinking back of what events transpired that led to this event tonight, I really came to the realization that I've been surrounded for my life with a very protective and supportive environment. My father was a geochemist, and he taught me the importance of not only hard work, but also scientific rigor, of curiosity, of originality, and also of the importance of collegiality that we all bring to the science that we do with regards to mentoring our students and our postdocs. My mom was a housewife, and she thought everything I did was terrific. And my aunt, who lived next door to us, was a biologist, and she was also a very staunch feminist in the early involvement in NOW organization. And so I grew up really thinking that I could do anything that I put my mind to. And that was really important as I began to face those adversities of being one of the few women in entering physical sciences back in the late 60s. And so that, I think, was really an important sort of aspect of who I am today, and really always treating these as challenges. I can do better. There's got to be a way that I can process any kind of hardship that I face and do better at what I do. And so that's really been my mantra over these years. As an undergraduate at University of Illinois, as I mentioned, I specialized in physical chemistry. I really gravitated toward Princeton University in biochemistry because I was interested in deviating and going more into biomedical science. And like everyone else at the time, I was working on bacteria. And nearing the end of my graduate career, I heard a talk by Howard Green, who was then at MIT. And I became passionate to go join his laboratory for my postdoctoral studies. Why? Because here he was taking a piece of human skin and putting it in a culture dish and being able to identify cells that he could passage endlessly, and they would still make skin. I thought that was amazing. I wanted to know, how do these cells work? We were calling them keratinocytes at the time, but in fact, these were the very first stem cells that were ever cultured and studied in a laboratory. That work served as the foundation for human embryonic stem cells, for induced pluripotent stem cells, and for organoid cultures as we know them today. And so I'd always been interested in cancer research, but I was feeling at the time that most people were studying transformed cancerous cells in the laboratory. And I thought, if you really want to understand cancer, you need to know how normal cells make and repair tissues so that we can then start to understand how those cells acquire a malignant mutation that then drives them on a course to cancer. And so that's what I began to do first at the University of Chicago and then at Rockefeller University, is to identify where are those stem cells that are existing in every tissue of our body, but existing in the skin, and where are the stem cells that are fueling the cancer, that are existing in the cancer, and that are responsible for chemotherapeutic resistance, for immunotherapeutic resistance, for relapsing the cancer. And really trying to say, if you could understand those differences, then we might be able to understand how to target specific cancer drugs so that they'll kill the cancer without harming normal tissue. And in fact, what makes therapeutics in cancer, what makes people sick, is that all too often, the drugs harm not only the cancer, but also the normal tissue. And so that's really been my premise in my research, and we continue to study heavily cancer with this in mind, and we also study how stem cells cope with various different kinds of inflammatory stress that give rise to chronic inflammatory disorders. So in closing, I want to say that I've totally enjoyed my career. I truly love the questions that I'm able to ask and questions whose answers don't exist, and finding those answers. I've been surrounded by fantastic students and postdocs and staff who have this tremendous curiosity and originality. They're the ones that are the future of science. What a wonderful life, surrounded by the best and the brightest, not only in my laboratory, but also my colleagues, and asking questions that I'm passionate about answering. So that's one of the reasons why 4 decades later, I'm still running a laboratory the size that I have had for many years now, and still trying to bring passion to my students and my postdocs. And it's really for them that I'm receiving this honor tonight. It really would not be possible were it not been the some 35 students that I've trained and some 100 postdocs that I've trained over the course of my career. They're the ones that deserve this award, and I can say on their behalf, I'm very honored and privileged to accept it. Thank you so much.